Okay. Hello, everyone. So sorry for the delay. So there has been some issue connecting to Facebook Live from Zoom, and it looks like it is an issue with Chrome. So eventually, I had to move to uh, Safari, and then things are working, I assume. In case if you find any issues, you can join the Zoom meeting. It is free for all. Anybody can come, and then they can participate in the queues and participate in the live sessions, and you can ask questions and you can learn more. Okay, so that said, and before giving to Kiran, one more uh, announcement. So, as you know, that we have been doing AZ 900 course uh, last month. It was all kind of one-man show from my side, and so this month I do not want to do that one-man show. So I want people to come forward, even if it is a very small session, only for a day. You don't have to take uh, a complete certification topic or complete tech series. You can take at least one of those miniature modules, and then help others, and then help yourself. Okay, so our group's primary intention should be to help each other and then grow. And whoever is taking this extra effort to come forward and speak to the group, I will definitely include you into my closed mastermind group, and then we can have more discussions on how we can collaborate and then grow together for a better future. Okay, uh, that said, let me give control to Kiran.
Hi, Hartin.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Kiran. So
Hello.
yesterday we got very positive feedback from many users, because you started very in a very hands-on way, and people were very happy, and people said they believe that you know the things that you say you know. That is the best confidence you can get as a teacher when you start teaching. Okay, so uh, knowing your teacher and then believing in him is the first step in learning something from anybody. Okay, so all to you, Kiran.
Yeah, I mean, add to that, like even when I started learning, I was also going through the same phase, like how, like initially I don't know what commandlet that I want to use and how to achieve all of those things. Actually, I don't know. I learned in the same way. So the same way I am giving back to the team, but I mean, it doesn't mean that I know everything. I'm on like whatever I know, I try to deliver to the team. And if at all, if you have any doubts, definitely I can take. If I know, I can answer that. If I don't know, definitely I'll refer and get back to you. That's what I could say.
Yeah, actually, that is the best part I liked about you, Kiran. So you are frank, and then you are ready to admit that if something I don't know, I will tell that I don't know, and then I will go refer and come back. Because nobody in the cloud world can claim that they know everything. Even people who are working for Microsoft itself, so they will be specialized on certain teams or certain products. So nobody can know everything. Nobody can be masters of everything, and that is the reason why we have these kinds of connects where Kiran has his own expertise, I have my own expertise, and then there are other people who have um, confirmed to us that they can come and take trainings in their own expert areas. So only then we can grow together and learn together. And all to you, Kiran. And then I wanted to convey again that that is one thing that I really liked about you yesterday in the session itself. So if you don't know, because I know trainers who say that I know everything, and then when somebody asks you a question, they say this and that, and then they don't agree that they don't know. So that is a very good quality for anybody for that matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Um, so as I mean, even I've seen some of the comments in the Facebook and even personally. Um, Yes, that is true because I wanted to, split the entire, the content that I wanted to deliver. I'll split. I don't be rush. Okay. And yesterday, as I mentioned, like I cannot, go in depth of each and every topic, but definitely I try to touch every topic where we can start our, PowerShell journey towards the cloud. Right. So again, maybe people who did not attend yesterday and they joined today, just I'll give in a brief about myself. My name is Kiran, and I'm working as a Cloud Ops engineering specialist. And this is my blog. And you can follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook page. And also you can visit my GitHub page. All the links and everything is available in my blog. I'm also a moderator and also I'm an editor for ICYMI at PowerShell.org. Today, if you visit, there is a post is going to release. It's not yet released, so you can see the latest updates about the PowerShell. So with that said, today I will only talk about the PowerShell. Like I've seen some of the comments like why I should learn PowerShell, or is that different from any other scripting or any other programming language. All of those things that I've seen. So just to answer those questions, today I'll just give. Actually this reference and everything is there in my site kpatnaikne.com. If you go to the reference, you can see the today's topic that I am going to discuss. However, I don't touch, in detail of the PowerShell history and all, but definitely I should mention that why we should learn PowerShell. Okay. So actually, what is a PowerShell? I think everybody knows it's a command line tool, okay, especially for IT administrators, and where it is an interactive as well as we can also do programming using the PowerShell, and it is mainly used to automate the tasks and manage the configuration of any product like Windows or SQL Server or an Azure, anything that we can do it. Okay, so why we should learn PowerShell is in the sense like it makes our life easier. Like you name it, you be an system administrator or you be an Exchange administrator or an Azure administrator or any administrator, right? It makes our daily life easy. Like you don't need to write tons of the lines and you don't need to manage code repository and all. It's not needed to manage your day-to-day activities. Only thing is that you should identify that there is something that we can do through PowerShell. So if you understand that, it's easy that you can do anything. And today I can say that like there is nothing that we cannot achieve using the PowerShell. Like whatever that you can do through GUI, you can get it done using the PowerShell. That is for sure, because Microsoft is working tremendously to improve their command line tool, and they tried even some of the commandlets that I have seen that we can't achieve through a GUI, but we can achieve through a command line. Using the PowerShell. Right. So, and the other one is it's a PowerShell. It's a cross-platform and it's an open source. Especially when it became an open source project and available in cross-platform, like everybody started using. Even though if you are a Linux guy and you wanted to manage your Azure or manage that AWS or manage any Windows or anything, that you can do it from the Linux or Mac OS as well, right? And many folks are started using on Linux as well now. And also it has like more features from PowerShell team and community, because it's an open source and community is actively working, right? It's not like whatever the features that we see is not directly from the PowerShell or it's not directly from the Microsoft. There is a community like us, like you and like me and like somebody else. If they know the C# or if they know some concept of how the PowerShell goes, they will go and implement their own way of doing it, and where PowerShell team will review and will add it to it. So that means we are seeing more and more features in PowerShell now, right? And and Microsoft continues to integrate with its product, whatever it is. The Microsoft, if they release any product, there will be a support of PowerShell for sure, right? And the other one is that we can't achieve everything through GUI, right? Suppose if you take an Active Directory and you want to install, you want to create 100 users, right? Through GUI, you literally, you have to go through the each user thing, and you have to you have to enter all the details one by one. It's like hell lot of time it will take. But if you use if you use PowerShell, it hardly takes a minute or so, right? That can create all 100 or even 1,000 users all at once, right? So that is the advantage of having the PowerShell. And now its usage is spreading like anything, and this soon it will not go away. Okay, suppose if you see some of the products, we can say that, okay, I think hardly it will be there for another 2 years or 3 years, something like that. But I haven't seen any news, or I haven't heard anything, and I'm seeing more and more, the features adding, and everybody is trying to adopt. Everybody, as in the vendors, okay, not the consumers. Like every product vendors, they wanted to have their they want to create their PowerShell modules to operate their product. So like that, it is happening. So it will be there for sure. And also some of the applications, suppose if we all know that Windows PowerShell, Windows server we have, and whatever the server manager we have, and some of the Active Directory things and all are actually behind the scenes. It is connected to the PowerShell engine and running the commands. Even in the GUI, what you see is again every click is run. Behind the scenes, it triggers the PowerShell scripts inside. Like many, I'm just telling you an example that. Okay. And the other thing, the other advantage is that is like you can directly interact with that product as in, like, I'm talking about the technology. Suppose you want to manage your virtual machines, or I'm talking about the cloud. Okay, so if you want to manage your cloud, you can directly connect to your cloud and run your commands directly on the onto the cloud, onto that product. Suppose if you want to manage through GUI, you have to go to the browser, you have to authenticate there, and you have to navigate to the page, and you have to navigate to the settings or configuration page, and you have to do it, and then it has to go through process, and then you will see that output. Whereas here, you just simply open your terminal, and it's like one-time authentication, right? Once you authenticated, your credentials will be saved, and you can, for every for every service, we have a commandlets, separate commandlets. You just can use that commandlets, and the commandlet also, you don't need to type till the end. Okay, there is an auto intelligence and tab completion is there you can just simply type half of the command. I can just give a tab and it will complete it for you. And even the parameters and parameter values as well, I'll show you that in a couple of moments. Is the advantage of PowerShell, right? And yeah, this is what I told you. You don't need to remember everything; it will do it for us. And Hugh's community, I think I have already discussed. This is the main thing, that now if you want to take any certification from the Microsoft, I think yesterday I told you minimum 20 to 25% of the score coming from the PowerShell commandlets itself. Okay, so that is the reason at least you should know the PowerShell, in your day-to-day activities. Right. So with that said, why you need to learn? I'll just quickly visit my blog and see all of this history and all. I just show you what are the versions that we have. Earlier we have, earlier we have Windows PowerShell. It is only there in the Windows platform. It doesn't work. It was not working with the Linux or Mac OS. Right. So I think in August 2008, 2016, it became an open source. Started with PowerShell core, where it works with the Windows, Linux, and macOS. But the only problem is that with the PowerShell core, there is a less support for Windows platform, right? To match with open source and to match with cross-platform standards, there is a less support for Windows uses. So that is the reason they don't want to go. They don't want to go with that core thing. They just simply mention that PowerShell. So now there is no Windows PowerShell or PowerShell core. Now it is simply PowerShell and the version is 7. But that doesn't mean that PowerShell, that doesn't mean that Windows PowerShell is gone. It is still there and it is still shipping with your Windows servers. But if you want to upgrade to Windows 7, yes, you need to install it separately. Right. So with that, I think I just need to mention this. When we talk about the PowerShell, PowerShell is one of the engine or one of the service in the whole PowerShell product. Along with that, there is two more services or two more things in the PowerShell. That is called one is desired state configuration. It is mainly used to declarative scripting to maintain your configuration. Okay. And also pester is a we can, after we deploy something, and if we want to test anything, or it's not only for deployment, any script that you write and you want to test, you can use the pester. It is a testing framework to manage your to maintain your script standards. Okay, so you can go through the links that I've provided, right? So this is the brief about my why you want to learn PowerShell. Okay, so can I take any questions, if at all, if there are any? Or we'll have it in the end.
Okay, I think we'll have it in the end. As of now, I have not seen any questions. So, earlier questions like what is the topic for today and all, I think it is clear now. Okay, so I think if something comes in between, you can ask, and then if there are any questions, I will post it to you.
Okay, sure, no problem.
And one quick note to anybody who is watching from Facebook, you can always come to the Zoom meeting and it is free. The link is posted below that, and below that live video, you can just click on it or come and then register and then join for free. So we just want to have some control, that is all. Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, thank you. So the installation part, I'll not touch because it's very straightforward. You can go to either you can using the Chocolatey package manager, or you can go to the GitHub page where you will see, since it is open source, everything is readily available. You can go to the GitHub page and download the latest one, right? So there, if you have still any doubts or anything, you can go to this page and you can find out how you can install it, right? So I'll not waste time on the installation and all. I'll go to directly into the terminal. Since yesterday I mentioned, suppose if you installed in your local machine, your window will be something like this, right? And both are same. I'm using a Windows terminal where I wanted to have the rich experience while I'm working with. Other than that, there is not much and good thing there. It's like only the look and feel, and some additional the configuration and additional features are really helpful for us. That is only the advantage. It's up to you how you want to use, but the commandlets and commands, what you run there and what you run here, both are same. The experience will be the same. So I don't use this. I'll use my Windows terminal, and this is how you will see if, the first time if you open your PowerShell. All right. And also I wanted to tell you is that in PowerShell, the commands are called as commandlets. Okay, the commandlets is nothing but it is a, I mean the syntax, the naming convention will be verb hyphen noun. So the whole thing is a name of the commandlet. Okay, the whole thing is called as a name of the commandlet, but the commandlet is something like verb hyphen noun. So verb is something like get, set, put. Put is not there. Like any verb that you can generally use that. So that verb will be there, and the noun means on which you want to work. Suppose I want to get a date, right? So get hyphen date. So that's it. So easy. Like you suppose you want to, you want to rename a computer. Same, rename hyphen computer, right? And so almost it is something like that. Suppose you want to shut down your computer, stop hyphen computer. So it's pretty much straightforward. You don't need to remember either. Okay, and how do we know that at least these commands and all there, and how we can come to know and all? You can use get command. Okay, if you directly run this, you will see all the commandlets are available in the current shell, right? So these many commandlets are there we have, right? There are almost thousands together. To see the count, you can use you can pipe that. See, piping is something like it will take an output of the previous command and pipe that output as an input to the next commandlet, right? So whatever the commandlet is coming, I'm giving it to the measure object so that I will get the count. So total I have 5,175 commandlets available in my computer. You can ask, like, in my computer there are not that many, and how come in your computer it will be like that? There is I think the PowerShell means everywhere it will be same. You can think like that, but the thing is that all these commandlets are shipped via PowerShell modules. Okay, suppose if I'm using more modules, if I download some modules and if I wanted to, if I import those modules, I'll get more commandlets in that, right? To see the modules, you can use a get module, right? So these are all the modules right now are loaded in my shell. Okay, so to see all the modules are installed in this computer, you can use hyphen a list available. So here if you see that it's a verb, it's a noun, and these are all the parameters. Again, parameters also different kind of parameters are there. Some parameters, they don't accept any input, right? They're like, they are kind of a switch parameters, right? Yes or no, a true or false kind of thing. And some they accept values like string values and some integer values, right? Something like that. So if I want to see all the all the modules available in my computer, you just can simply enter a get module list available, so that it can fetch all the modules in my computer wherever they are stored, and I can get all of this like all of these modules there in my computer. All right, these many modules are there. Suppose you want to search for some module, like I want to know whether my Azure PowerShell module is loaded or not. So Azure PowerShell module is AZ. So if you directly run, I don't think, you don't get it because we have not loaded. If you want to see that, you have to use with the list available, right? So I have two places I think I've installed. One is in my home directory, and other is in the Windows PowerShell. Because if I use Windows PowerShell, it maintains its own module repository, and if I use other than Windows PowerShell, it will maintain its own repository. So this one is coming from my Windows PowerShell. Sorry, I mean this one is coming from my PowerShell, right? And this is from the Windows PowerShell. That is the reason it has two, right? So I have this module and I want to load, means I have to import that module into my current session. For that, you have to use import module. See, I mean, like who are watching, you can remember these commandlets, right? Like, I mean, initially you don't need to, worry about how would I remember all of these commandlets, and how come if I wanted to use, do I need to search and all? You don't need to worry about that. To get started with the Azure, I mean, to get started with the PowerShell and getting started with the Azure PowerShell, what are the commandlets I am talking about today? I think they're most enough. And with that commandlets, you can fetch more commandlets on your own. Okay, that I can promise you at least. So import module AZ. So that means, I think since I mean yesterday I told you that the AZ module is not a direct module of Azure PowerShell. It's a kind of helper module, right? It can have all the actual modules, and when you run it, it will load the actual modules into the memory or into the session, right? It will take a bit time since it has to pull all the actual modules and then load it. Now if you see get module and AZ, you can see it now because this module is loaded now, and you don't need to run with a list available, right? This is how you can see all the modules, and you can load the modules and all. Suppose if you want to see what are the modules, I mean with the wildcard, if you want to search for that, you can use az dot star. If I want to use com star, so I can get az dot compute module. And even if I want to use az dot star, so I can get all the az modules. I don't get any other modules, right? Only the names, I mean like only the module names which are starting with az, right? This is how I can list all my modules. Now I want to see those modules. I mean I want to see the commandlets in that modules. Suppose if I want to work with storage, okay, Azure storage. So for that storage, I mean like what are the commandlets I have? To see those commandlets, again you can use a get hyphen command, and there is a parameter called module. Okay, for storage we have az dot storage. So you can use that az dot storage so that it will fetch the commands which are there in that az dot storage module, right? These are all the modules, these are all the commandlets available in that module. Got it? And we already discussed, like it has a naming convention of verb and noun. So we can find the commandlets by filtering by their verb or by their noun, or even with the name. I'll show you how we can find out your commandlets. So with this commandlets, with this command, I can get all the commandlets in that module. Now I want to get all the all the get commandlets, like where it has the get in their name, right? Those commandlets I can get it. So now if you see, I can get all the get commandlets. So get means you will get information out of that, right? And if you want to see all the set commandlets in the Azure, in the storage module, so these are all the set commandlets, right? Also there is an add commandlet will be there, right? Also remove. Okay, these are all the basic commandlets we have. And you can ask, like, how would we come to know that these many verbs are there, and if at all other than these four, okay, fine, get, set, add, remove, anybody, anyhow we can come to know. How come we come to know other verbs we have and all? So for that there is a commandlet called get hyphen verb. So these are all the verbs where Microsoft standard verbs, but that doesn't mean that you can't use your own verb. If you are writing your own commandlets, you can use, but the Microsoft suggesting these commandlets so that there are some other scripts, like other features like a script analyzer, or there are some helper functions are there to validate your script. So only for that reason, I believe they are maintaining the standards, right? So these are all the verb they have, and they recommend us to use in our scripts. Okay, so the get verb, right? There are many, like we have get, we have new, we have open, we have remove. There are many others, select, stop, all you. If you get this, this list, there is a commandlet with that name for sure in my computer, right? And I have seen that I get all the commandlets with the get commandlets. Now I want to search those commandlets for my table one, like in the noun, if at all, if there is any table in that, right? So the noun has a table in that. So if you see this, it has a get verb, and in the noun it has a table, right? In another way, you can also search in this way, like you don't want to do that. If you want to see name, like anywhere you can have that the name. So if you run this, you will get the table. Wherever you see, wherever the table has in that name, it will display us, right? It has a get or new or remove or set, anything, right? This way you can find your commandlets. So that is the reason I was telling that you don't need to remember all the commandlets. Only few commandlets that you need to remember. In my opinion, only 4 or 5 commandlets. That I think one I already told you, like get command. Okay, the other two I'll tell you. Those 3 are very important, because if you know those 3 commandlets, like one is get command, the other one is get help, and the third one is get member. I think if you search anywhere about the PowerShell, they will mention about these 3 commandlets. If you know these 3 commandlets, that means half of the PowerShell commandlets are easy for you, and you can start using without anybody's help. Correct? So here I want to tell you a tip for your exam. As I mentioned, like especially for Azure, you take to get anything, it will be like get commandlet. Okay, and to configure anything, it will be set commandlet. Okay, and you want to add configuration, or you want to add new item. Okay, for that the verb is add. And if you want to remove something, that will be remove. Okay, so these 4 commandlets, as far as I know and I remember when I was writing the exams, you will get only questions on these 4 these 4 verb commandlets, right? Suppose if and of course they can confuse you. Like suppose I want to create a I want to create a subnet. So for that, which commandlet I want to use? For they will say that create -az subnet configuration or config, and second one is new -az subnet config, and the third one is that the new az subnet config. So here you should understand is that new. So if you want to create anything, the verb is new. Okay, and you want to configure, the verb is set. You want to remove, right? So if you remember this, it will be easy for you, right? And don't get confused with create. I think I've seen a couple of times they mention that create something. So create is not there, and add is not to create new thing. Only new is only to new. Okay, create new. Okay, so now we identified the commandlets, right? And okay, I identified a commandlet. Now, how I want to use that? Like, I mean, like, what are the parameters it has, and how I mean, how even if I know the parameters also, I mean, which value that I have to enter when I mean at the time of execution. All of those things will come into the, like when you want to execute something, it will come into your mind. So for that, there is a next commandlet, get help. Okay, even to see the syntax, you can use a get command. Suppose you identified a commandlet, right? So suppose get storage table commandlet you identified. Now you want to know how I can use that. Like what are the, I mean, what is the syntax of that command? I mean, of that commandlet. So for that, you can simply use that get command name and the commandlet name and then syntax, right? So it will give the couple of syntaxes. Either you can use the name or context, or prefix and context. So this way you can use the storage table, okay, to get that storage table from the storage account, right? So this way we can get the syntax of that commandlet. And to get the help of that commandlet, it is simply very straightforward. Get help and name of that commandlet, right? So if you want to see that the help of this storage account, I mean the storage table, I mean this is the basic help that you get. It will show you the syntax, and it will give you the little description about it, and also it will give the other ways of getting the information, I mean the help of this commandlet. So here I've only used I mean I've only fetched the basic help, and if you want to see the detailed or full help, you can just simply use that detailed help. Suppose if you use detailed, you will get in detailed help of each and every parameter, in detailed help of each and every example. Everything will come. Okay, full means all, like starting to end you will get it, right? And there is a other thing called example. Examples means you will only get the examples, like how you want to use. Suppose if you directly can run, yes, you can directly run it, or you can use with the name, or you can use with the prefix, right? So this is the way that you can I mean use. These are the examples of uses, right? And there is a one more thing is that online. See why online is that whatever the help is there at the time of you import that, I mean at the time of you install the module, whatever the help is available in that module, that will be loaded in your local computer. But in the meantime, there is a lot of community. I think many of you know, right? Like Microsoft Docs is also an open source project, and it is given to the I mean it is given to the community, and communities, every day they update with the new examples and new write-ups, and new way of doing the things and all they are updating. So if you want to see the latest help of any commandlet, you can use with the, I mean you can use with the online flag, right? So this way it will open the help in the web page, and this is the latest help that is available. So this is a full help again, right? So this is the advantage of having the get help, right? This way we can do that. And now the other commandlet is get help. Suppose let me see whether I'm logged in or not. Oh, sorry. Get AZ context is to see whether I logged in or not. right? So I think I logged in and I'm in my test subscription, right? So I will fetch my VMs. So if I run my VMs, I got my VMs. So take an example of get AZVM. Okay, so to fetch the command, and that actually AZVM is from the az.compute. Okay, so the module, if you see az.compute, right, and the noun or yeah, the name is VM or ending with VM. So these are all the ending with VM. I have get AZVM, I have set AZVM, update AZVM, start, stop, everything is there, right? So now I have identified my commandlet and I have get my help, get help, get hyphen AZVM, right? I've identified my commandlet and get my help, and now after running this, what information it has written, and that information, like what kind of information it is and how to see what is there inside that output and all. For that, what you can do is I can get the output of that get VM into one variable called VM equals to get hyphen az VM, and the name is db serve, and the resource group is compute rg. Right now I have my VM. So this is the VM. And now if you see here, you feel like this is just a information. But one thing you should remember is that in PowerShell, everything is an object. Okay, everything is an object. Object means it has some properties, it has some methods, it has some events sometimes. Okay, so the properties define like what type of object it is, and the methods define what actions it can do, right? So to see all of those members, we can call them as a members, right? Like, I mean, what are the properties it has, and what are the methods it has, and what are the events it has, right? To see all of them, we can use a get member. Here, you you can use like this, like get member hyphen input object and dollar VM. You will get the information of this, but instead of that, you can do like this VM and give this whole thing. I mean, pipe that to get member. It's both are same, right? So if you run this, you will see like what type of output that you got. Okay, this is the output that you get it, and these are all the methods. Of course, these are all the common methods. I mean the get VM doesn't have any methods where we can run. These are all the standard from the PowerShell itself, but it has a lot of properties. If you see here, there are a lot of properties, right? If you see that the hardware profile, it's a property, and it contains the VM size, right? And also OS profile. The OS profile, it contains like OS related information, and storage will be there. The storage profile will show you that what image it has selected, and all of those things are there. So by looking at these things, that you can use it. Suppose if you want to use them, you can just simply use the dot notation. So dot notation is nothing but after the object. See here, it has written this, I mean, it has written the get AZVM has written this type of object, like it's like PS virtual machine object, and that object has these many methods and these many properties are there. To use them, you have to use with the dot notation and the property name. Suppose I want to see the name of my virtual machine, I can use that $VM dot name, so it will show my name of the virtual machine. Suppose you want to use something else, like the storage one. What is the storage profile it has? Okay, this is the storage profile it has. Again, it has the image reference. Again, it has OS disk, and if at all, I mean, I haven't created with the data disk, so that is the reason it is showing empty there. right? Suppose you want to see what is the image reference that I used. Again, you can use with the dot notation. So image reference. So like that, whatever you see, if you want to reference that, you just can add on with the dot notation. Suppose you want to see the publisher or a SKU, right? So this is the SKU that you can use. Suppose if at all if you are creating any inventory thing in your Azure, I mean inventory database, you can get your details like this. You can get all of these VMs and run in a loop and get all of your details, and you can store it somewhere in like any database or any table or anything. So like that you can use, right? This way we can get the members of the output of that commandlet. Right, each object will have different types of properties and different types of members, right? With actually these three commandlets are very important, right? Get command, get help, and get member. If you know these three commandlets, how to use and all, that's more than enough. And if you go to my site, I've given a complete information here, like how I think pretty much I covered everything in this, like like with the get command, what and all we can use I've given, and also with get help, what and all we can use. There is a huge thing there, and even with the get member, right? If you know these things, it's more than enough to start with the Azure PowerShell, right? So with this today, I want to stop, and now I want to take the questions.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Kiran. It was sharp at point. So we started 15 minutes late, but you exactly stopped at 9. It was sharp. Okay. So there is
No, I've taken your suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. So very good, because yeah, we need to stick to timelines, and then people can use it as a regular thing, and not not plan for anything else during this time. And one thing is, everybody are learning, but we make mistakes. So today we learned a new thing, that okay, sometimes Chrome will not work as we want for live stream. So in next classes, I can also prevent that delay by using Safari or something else. Okay, yeah. Coming back to the questions. So there is a question like, is it used in a CI/CD implementation also? So Shankar has asked whether we use this in a CI/CD implementation also.
Yes. See, actually, see. Okay. I mean, you want to answer?
No. So basically, you can talk about how it is useful for a CI/CD implementation.
Yeah, that's what. See, actually CI/CD is not a single product, right? So there is many other things they are involved in the CI/CD pipelines. It's like continuous integration is a different aspects, and continuation. Continue to the delivery is also different thing. So here with the PowerShell, you can create your scripts or your modules or anything. Okay, as soon as you commit, okay, with your source control, any of the source control that you are using, the moment when you commit, it has to go through some testing phase. Okay, so the testing phase, either you can use Pester, which is which is inbuilt in the PowerShell, or you can use any other tool where you identified is right for your solution. And once that is done, then you can push it to any of your live or any of your production or anything. So the whole thing is a separate thing. You have to write it in a YAML way. The extension files with your, either you can use Azure DevOps or you can use Jenkins. Yeah, these two I remember as of now. I remember. I think Bamboo is also there, right? It also supports the CI/CD. Even the GitHub Actions is there, that also you can use. So the PowerShell is main thing there. It's your product now, and you want to automate that, you have to depend on some other tools.
Okay, good.
I think with best of my knowledge, I answered. Like probably anybody else can give a
Yeah,
better answer for that. Yeah.
So that is for anybody. So this is a study group rather than a training portal, right? So if anybody has better knowledge, experience, you can always uh, mention in the chat, and then we can discuss that. Okay. So if there is anything that you have to share, then chatting is difficult. You can tell that also, and then I can make you a panelist or allow you to talk. Okay. So coming back to next question, how a shell script is. So how this is different from Bash script? So because even Azure has this option, when you go to Cloud Shell, you get both these options, right? So why it is still there? Bash script it is still there. Why both?
Yeah, it is straightforward. Like I mean, there are other groups also there where we have AWS, we have Google Cloud, but since we are there in the Azure Cloud, it's our preference. Because I know PowerShell, so today I'm teaching PowerShell. Suppose somebody else, they know Azure CLI, they can come and teach us. I don't show any partiality here. Everything has its own value and its own the credibility of usage. If you talk about the difference, probably I could mention, or I see that advantage in PowerShell is the tab completion, and you don't need to remember. That is only the advantage, but other than that, no other disadvantages or any other thing. You can pretty much whatever you can do with the Azure PowerShell, you can do it with the Azure CLI.
Yeah, that is right. So one
Okay,
thing
I think I think he's talking about the shell scripts. Yeah, I think how we have the bash scripts or in a shell script in Linux, the same way we have it in Windows. Suppose if you are working with Linux, you can use your bash scripts. If you are working with Windows, you can use your Windows PowerShell scripts.
Okay, good. So generally people coming from a Windows background generally prefer PowerShell. So that is my experience, and people are moving from AWS or other clouds to Azure. Initially, they go with Bash script, and then once they get familiarized with PowerShell and understand its advantages, then they can move. But the good thing about Azure is you have both options available, so you are not restricted.
Yeah, and also the platform support also. Suppose if you have an existing setup in Windows, right? So that there you can use PowerShell scripts comfortably. Or if you have everything in your Linux platform, there you have to use your Bash script. So depending on your environment also.
Yeah, definitely. And so another question is, does PowerShell keep track of configuration it made similar to Terraform?
No, no. Terraform, it maintains its state file where we can have that, we can keep it separate. But in PowerShell, no, there is nothing like that. But you can make it, like what you have done and how, like what changes happened and all that. You have to enable it, and you can create logging in your own way of setup.
Okay. And another thing, so this autocomplete comes only with Azure PowerShell, or even with the Windows PowerShell also? Because
PowerShell, PowerShell.
Because Abhilash is telling I installed PowerShell 7 on my Windows 10, but it does not show autocomplete.
No, it should show. Like it's a simple tab completion only. If the thing is that if you don't have that command, it will not come. But if the commandlet is there, then definitely it has to pop up. If not, means there is something wrong with your PS read line. Maybe you can post it in some where where you're missing and all, they could assist you.
Okay, good. So yeah, so from Srinivas Asas is that WhatsApp message for new WhatsApp group. Actually, it is not a new WhatsApp group. It is the existing group. We just don't want to share it in public forums. We share it with people who have registered and come here, so that we'll only get serious learners there. So that is it. Okay, I have, so Bonnie has asked, I have PowerShell in Windows. Do I need to install a new version for Azure?
See that I think today I mentioned, right? We have Windows PowerShell and we have PowerShell Core and PowerShell 7. Okay, PowerShell Core. For now I don't suggest. Okay, if you want to stick with your, I mean, like Windows, and I mean, which comes from the Windows, if you want to stick with that, you can use Windows PowerShell, because still it is in live and they are still using it. Even Microsoft, many other platforms also, they are shipping with the Windows PowerShell. But PowerShell 7 is the latest one. You need to install it separately. Okay, and all the modules, whatever the modules are coming from, they support both Windows PowerShell and PowerShell. So it's truly your choice which version of the PowerShell that you want to use. And coming to the Azure PowerShell, I think every 3 weeks once or 2 weeks once, there are new enhancements and new updates are coming with the Azure PowerShell module. And those, if at all, if they're released with the new version, yeah, and you want to work with the new version, you can download it manually using the like install module.
Okay, Boni,
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question. So basically, you can install Azure module within your PowerShell. It may not come by default, but you can install it and then you can use it. Yeah.
Thanks.
So any other questions? Because so unless you ask questions, then this will be just like any other video tutorial. So
Yeah.
the purpose of these sessions are we can interact, we can learn together, and then you can ask to a real person and then get his knowledge or experience. Okay, so that should be the case. So okay, small case also work. So Surekha has asked, small case also works with the commands. Why capital case used for commands? Is there any
No,
convention?
no, there is no compulsory, but I use that standards. I mean, I made myself to, I mean, use like that. If I see small letters, I don't feel like I'm running it, but because if you see anywhere, the first one, the first letter will be capital letter. So even if you use the tab completion, it will give you the complete commandlet with that case sense. I mean, it's not a case sensitive. It's up to your preference. If you want to use with the lowercase, you can use. It's not a case sensitive.
Okay, cool. And another question from Mr. Anonymous attendee is, can you show some example writing a command on Azure Shell and its result in Azure? So I think the running commands, even we did yesterday. So I think what he is expecting is so something has actually got created in Azure in the end after we run the command.
Yeah, tomorrow session I'll show it. It is there. The whole session is for that. Today, I just wanted to show that what is PowerShell and why PowerShell and how to find the commandlets. Yeah, for sure, I did not touch each and everything, but at least I showed you that what is PowerShell and how you can open the PowerShell and how you can run the commandlets. I think I covered. With that knowledge, tomorrow sessions will be helpful and you can understand who are new to PowerShell.
Yeah, that is good. And also one suggestion, you can also so get started with it, do something today, and tomorrow we will have it at evening itself, same time. So tomorrow it is going to be a holiday for most of you, right? So try to practice something and then get your hands dirty and then ask your doubts, because otherwise if you watch it like a TV show, because we are two people here and then we speak, and then if you watch it like a TV show eating popcorns, you'll not actually learn. So you can practice something, get your hands dirty, and come back with any issues, problems, or questions you may have.
Yeah. I think I could suggest that they can go to my reference page, right? So I think that here, I mean, whatever I mentioned here only because I don't have time to continue here. But with this, they could get started with the PowerShell for sure. Like what are the introduction and your lab setup and how to install your PowerShell and getting started. Like I've given I mean, like in the getting started, I've given like how to launch and like the commandlet overview and what parameters and what what are the functions, what are the parameter sets and all. I think I've given. Okay, so at least in the interest of that I wrote, please visit here and read it. It is definitely helpful for the new folks, so like who wants to get started with the PowerShell.
Yeah, that would be great. So I would suggest everybody to visit and then practice something. Okay, so it will be really helpful for you. We will also upload these recordings soon to the channel, and I will share the link in the group. And from next week, this morning 8 o'clock time, so few engineers from Australia and New Zealand have also told me they will take sessions, because this is evening will be very late for them. So they will be taking in the morning time. So I'll share more details in our group. So good thing is that so many people are now coming forward after Kiran came, and because of good responses. So I hope to make this as a live learning group without any spams and other things. Okay, so that said, we will wind up for today. Have a good night if you are in India, and have a good morning if you are in US or other places where day is just starting. Bye bye. Yeah, thanks
Thank
Shankar
you.
for the nice words. Thanks Vivi, thanks Srinivas, all for your nice words. Okay, whenever you send nice words, you can send to all panelists and attendees so that they can also see. Okay, otherwise we will only see. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you all.
We'll
Yeah, thanks.